Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast Network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast.
Ozcast.
Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.
Ozcast.
All right, everybody, welcome back. It is time for another deep dive, and I am really excited for this one. Today, we are looking at, well, some pretty unusual activity around XRP.
Definitely unusual.
It is. So just to set the stage, we are looking at an article from FX Street titled XRP, Binance Outflows, White House Summit, and Price Forecast. And we are going to really try and dissect this because there are some pretty big XRP withdrawals happening from Binance right before Ripple's CEO is going to be heading to a White House Summit on crypto. So let's unpack all of this.
Sounds good.
Okay, so first off, the big news. XRP is like exploding upwards, a 23% gain in just a week.
It is, and that's especially impressive when you consider that other cryptocurrencies are actually trending downwards.
Yeah, that's a thing that really caught my eye. Like, is this a sign of something bigger? Is there something going on behind the scenes? Because XRP is holding strong above $2.40.
Yeah.
You know, even when everything else is kind of struggling.
Right. And that's where this upcoming White House summit comes in. I mean, President Trump is going to be meeting with a bunch of crypto leaders, including Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, and they're going to be talking about regulation.
Oh. Yep.
So a lot of people are thinking that this price surge is directly tied to that summit, you know, kind of the anticipation of some positive regulatory news coming out of those meetings.
So it's kind of like investors are feeling optimistic.
Exactly. There's a lot of, well, there's definitely some hope in the air.
Hope in the air. Okay. So potential good news on the regulation front. But then we got this other piece of the puzzle. A huge chunk of XRP moved out of Binance, like $130 million worth. So why would people be pulling their XRP off an exchange instead of, you know, just trading it like usual?
Yeah, that's a great question. So think of it this way. When you take your money out of your checking account and like stash it in a safe, you're probably not planning to spend it right away, right?
Right. It's long term.
Exactly. And it's the same with crypto. Moving XRP off of an exchange and into what we call cold storage, which is like a super secure digital wallet, that often signals a longer-term strategy.
So these are not, they're not day traders or anything like that.
Right. These are people who are in it for the long haul. They are betting on XRP's future.
Wow. Okay.
And when you see that much volume, that amount of XRP moving into cold storage, it definitely raises some eyebrows. It really makes you wonder.
Yeah, especially, I mean, this whole thing is, well, could this be connected to that crypto strategic reserve that that Trump has mentioned a few times?
That's the theory going around, is maybe, just maybe, some big institutional investors are accumulating XRP, you know, kind of getting ready, just in case the U.S. Treasury actually does start buying it up.
So the U.S. government hoarding XRP.
It's a wild theory, I'll give you that.
That is wild. Okay, hold on. So let me just make sure I understand this. We've got a big price jump, potentially because of this upcoming White House summit and possible positive regulations coming out of it. Then we've got these huge withdrawals from Binance, which could signal a longer-term bet on XRP, maybe even connected to this crypto reserve idea.
Yeah.
It's a lot to take in.
It is, and we're just getting started.
Oh, man. Okay. So with all of this swirling around, I mean, what does the actual market analysis say about XRP's price? Like, where could this thing actually be headed?
Well, that's where we need to dig into the technical indicators.
Okay.
The article mentions a couple of interesting ones. For example, the MACD, which stands for Moving Average Convergence Divergence.
Right.
You don't need to remember that.
Okay, good.
But basically, it is pointing up, which is generally a good sign.
Yep.
It means the buying momentum for XRP is really strong right now, and there is a good chance that the price could keep climbing.
Like, how high are we talking?
Well, some analysts are even predicting it could hit $3.
Whoa.
Which would be a significant jump from where it is now.
That's a huge jump. But hold on. I mean, what about the other side of this? Like, is there anything that's indicating things could go in the opposite direction?
Of course. I mean, you always have to look at both sides.
Yeah.
And the article does mention a support level at $2.40, kind of like a safety net. As long as the price stays above that, the outlook is generally positive.
Okay, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, but if it drops below that, it could trigger a sell-off. People might start getting nervous and selling their XRP, which could push the price down even further, potentially towards $2.20, which is the next major support level.
So there are these sort of like, I don't know, these key points that we need to watch.
Yeah, exactly. These key levels that can really influence how the market moves.
Okay, so it sounds like there's a lot riding on whether or not XRP can hold that $2.40 line.
Absolutely. It is definitely a critical point to watch. And it's important to remember that crypto markets are notoriously volatile. Even with all these positive signs, things could change very quickly.
So what you're saying is hold on tight.
Yeah, this XRP ride could get a little bumpy.
I like that. A little bumpy. Okay, so I think we've set the scene pretty well here.
I think so.
A price surge, this White House summit on the horizon, and these large-scale withdrawals from Binance.
Right.
All of these things, they're pointing to some potentially huge moves for XRP.
Potentially huge, yeah.
But the big question is, which way is it going to go?
That's the million-dollar question.
It is. It is. All right, everybody, stay tuned because we are going to continue unpacking this whole XRP mystery in part 2. Okay, so we are back and ready to keep going on this XRP roller coaster.
It is a wild ride, that's for sure.
It really is. And, one thing that I keep thinking about is, like, XRP has been kind of an outlier lately, right? I mean, it's surging ahead while a lot of other cryptos are struggling to even stay afloat.
Definitely.
So what makes XRP so resilient, especially in a market like this? What's the secret sauce?
Well, I think part of it has to do with how XRP is actually being used. You see, unlike some cryptocurrencies that are mainly seen as just like speculative assets, people buying them hoping they'll go up in value,
Right.
XRP is actually being developed for like real-world applications, particularly in the world of cross-border payments.
Oh, okay.
So this focus on like utility, on actually solving real-world problems, that could be a big part of why it's attracting investors who are looking for something more stable, something with long-term growth potential.
So it's not just about the hype, it's about actually using it for something.
Exactly. It has that real-world grounding.
Okay, so that makes sense. And it makes me think about those huge withdrawals from Binance that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Could that be part of the reason? Like maybe those institutions are accumulating XRP, not just to like hold on to it, but to actually use it for these real world applications.
That's a very real possibility. They're seeing the potential of XRP beyond just its price fluctuations. They are thinking about its utility in the future of finance.
Okay, so they're playing the long game. They're thinking about a future where XRP is actually a major player in like the global financial system.
Precisely. And that brings us right back to this White House summit because, regulation is still one of the biggest question marks hanging over the entire crypto world.
Right.
And if the U.S. government signals that it's going to create a more open, clear regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies, well, that could be a massive boost for adoption and investment, especially for a cryptocurrency like XRP that's already being used in real-world financial systems.
I see what you mean. So it's not just about whether the U.S. government likes crypto or not. It's about them setting the rules of the game.
Exactly, creating a more level playing field. And if they do that, well, then traditional financial institutions, they're going to be much more comfortable incorporating crypto into their operations.
Oh, I see. So that would be huge for XRP because it is already focused on, like, payments and these cross-border transactions.
Exactly. It's already positioned to take advantage of that shift.
Wow. Okay, I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together.
It's a fascinating puzzle, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
But hold on, let's go back to those Binance outflows for just a second. We've talked about long-term investors and institutional use cases, but could there be other reasons why people might be moving their XRP off of exchanges?
Oh, absolutely. There could be a whole bunch of reasons. Remember, a core principle of the crypto world is this idea of decentralization, having control over your own assets.
Right.
So some people might be wary of keeping their XRP on these centralized exchanges, especially with all the uncertainty surrounding regulation. They might prefer to move their holdings to like more secure self-custody solutions like hardware wallets, where they have complete control over their own keys.
So it's not necessarily about being bullish or bearish on XRP itself. It could just be about taking control.
Exactly. Reducing your risk in a market that can be very volatile and unpredictable.
Right. I mean, I think that's always a smart move no matter what you're investing in. Don't put all your eggs in one basket and all that.
Absolutely. And it's a good reminder that The crypto market is driven by such a complex mix of factors. You've got investors motivated by profit, by ideology, by a desire for greater control, and it all comes together in this really fascinating way.
It really is fascinating. It's like a giant game of chess with all these players making their moves.
I like that analogy. And to understand those moves, you have to look beyond just the headlines.
Right. You got to dig deeper.
Exactly. You have to look at the nuances of the technology, the market dynamics, the regulatory landscape. It's all connected.
Okay, so we've talked about the White House summit, those mysterious Binance outflows, and how XRP's real-world applications might be contributing to its staying power, I guess you could say.
It's a resilience, yeah.
Yeah, resilience. But I'm curious, what about the technical side of things, like the actual charts and indicators? I know the article mentioned a few things that suggest XRP's price could keep rising, but also some potential warning signs that, a correction might be coming. Can you break that down for us? Like, what should someone who's watching XRP closely be paying attention to?
Absolutely. And that's where technical analysis comes in. It can be a really powerful tool for understanding market trends and spotting potential buying or selling opportunities. And with XRP right now, there are definitely a few key indicators worth watching. So technical analysis, right, can help us try to, figure out where the price might be going.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what are the charts telling us about XRP?
Well, that 240 support level we were talking about? That is like the biggest one to watch right now. As long as XRP can stay above that, things are looking pretty good.
Okay, so that is a good sign for now.
Yeah, and one of the indicators, this thing called the MACD, it is giving a bullish signal, basically meaning that the momentum is still with the buyers.
Okay, so momentum is on XRP side, but we also talked about a possible correction. Are there any signs that that might actually happen?
Right, because nothing goes up forever, right?
True.
XRP, just like any other asset, it can go through some profit taking, some market fluctuations, and if it drops below that 240 support, that could really trigger a wave of selling.
Oh.
Yeah, people start getting nervous. They might sell their XRP, and that could push the price down even further, maybe towards 220, which is the next support level.
So watching these levels is super important then.
It is. They can really tell you a lot about what the market might do next.
So it sounds like there's a lot riding on whether or not XRP can hold that 240 line.
There is. It's a bit of a balancing act right now.
Yeah.
We've got all this positive momentum, but there is always that risk of a downturn if things, shift the other way.
Right. So for someone who's watching all this, trying to figure out what to do with their XRP, what advice would you give them?
I would say, first and foremost, information is key.
Do your research, really understand the risks, understand the potential rewards,
right,
and never, ever invest more than you can afford to lose. That is crucial.
Yeah, I think that is great advice no matter what you are investing in. Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive, what are the big takeaways you hope our listener will walk away with?
I think the big thing is that XRP, it's at a crossroads right now. We've got the White House summit. We've got these Binance outflows, these real-world use cases, the technical indicators. It all points to this being a really crucial moment for this cryptocurrency.
Yeah, it feels like we're on the edge of something big, but we don't know which way it's going to go.
We don't, and that's what makes the crypto world so exciting. It is constantly changing. You never know what is going to happen next, and it's always pushing the boundaries of what is possible.
Well said, Cole said. All right, everybody, that is a wrap on our deep dive into XRP. We covered a ton of ground, from those price surges to potential regulations to those really intriguing Binance withdrawals and even a little peek at the technical indicators. Hopefully this has given you some food for thought as you navigate the always evolving, always exciting world of crypto. Until next time, everybody, stay curious and keep on diving deep.
Are you a podcaster? Maybe you've got that big idea and you're looking for a network to join. The multi-award-winning Ozcast network can get your content to eyes and ears all over the world. Join now for the first month free, and you could be featuring this sound at the beginning of your podcast. Ozcast. Simply head to ozcastnetwork.com for details.